This is Scraps from GriffinMods. I was at my local Walmart today, and I just happened upon the new Nerf Elite Firestrike. So I figured I'd pick one up and do a review for you. We're going to be reviewing the blaster, as well as doing a direct comparison to its predecessor, the Nightfinder, and a fire test also. For starters, the box itself is similar to a lot of the other Elite packaging, except this is the first open blaster, I believe. It's got kind of a shiny finish on all of the cardboard. Says here, Elite Distance, 75-foot ranges, which is very important. I can't wait to see how it performs. And it actually has a funny little disclaimer here about how it is not intended for play in complete darkness, and that can be dangerous, which I thought was kind of funny. Also, up here in the corner, it says it runs on 2 AAA batteries as opposed to AA batteries like the Nightfinder did. On the back of the box, it tells you it comes with 3 Elite darts. It has a tactical rail in case you want to put some giant crazy scope on it, and the precision light beam for aiming purposes, I guess, as well as housing for 2 of the darts here on the bottom. To get the Firestrike out of the box, you just need to snip these 3 little pieces of white twine that Nerf uses on all of their blasters now. There's one here at the back, one on the grip, and one up front. And then it comes right out of the packaging. Oh wow, it's very small, it's very compact, it feels very nice, it's very tactical. It's definitely a complete redesign, which I enjoy that with some of these blasters that they're upgrading to Elite versions, they're not just doing the internals, but also completely redesigning the blaster itself. So at first glance, this thing looks pretty awesome. So the first thing I noticed when taking it out of the box is that it's significantly smaller than a Nightfinder. You can see here in the side-by-side, it's probably a good inch shorter. The priming mechanisms on the back have been redesigned. The grip itself is probably almost an inch shorter, as well as the dart area here below the light and the muzzle is much smaller as well. All in all, it's a much more compact design. I do like the fact that it's not just a simple reshell or clone like the Rampage or the Retaliator, but a completely new redesign. While it's smaller, it still has a very good feel to it. The grip is much shorter. It may be uncomfortable for people with larger hands. This little piece here that juts out on the bottom, I'm not sure why they put it there, but it definitely makes it more comfortable. I think without it there, I would feel like my hand is trying to slip off of it. So that's a good feature. They also retained a lot of the things that made the Nightfinder, like this weird round Nerf insignia here they both have. There's this orange showing through here. On top of what would be the plunger tube, I assume. It also has the ability to carry 2 extra darts underneath the light. So it did retain many of the signature Nightfinder features, as well as the slanted muzzle here on the front of the barrel itself. However, that's where most of the similarities end. The battery tray here on the bottom opens up with a single screw. I've already put the batteries in. The Firestrike runs on 2 AAAs as opposed to the Nightfinder that ran on AA's. Another interesting difference, or great difference rather, is that the Nightfinder, the light came on when you began to depress the trigger, and then you'd pull it forward to actually release the trigger catch and fire it. So every time you fired it, if you had batteries in, the light would come on. The Firestrike features a separate trigger down here, very similar to the accelerator triggers on flywheel blasters, so you can choose whether or not you want to engage the light. Now, the trigger itself looks like the accelerator trigger from flywheel blasters. However, it functions and depresses a little bit differently. For me personally, on the flywheel blasters, a lot of times I'll hit that button accidentally and rev up the flywheels when I don't want to. This one, it pulls up as opposed to straight back, and I don't accidentally press that button as much as I would with the flywheel blasters. Something else that's cool is this clear area right here that lights up when you engage the light. I don't know how well you can see it right now, but that's kind of a neat additional feature. It's cool aesthetically. I think that functionally the reason for it being there is so that when you're holding the blaster, you can tell if your light's actually on or not. if you don't necessarily see it on the wall. The light itself is very similar to the light that's on a night finder. You do not have the ability to adjust it like you could with the night finder light. It's just stationary. However, that's okay. I don't think anybody actually used that. The light itself seems to be about the same brightness. I don't know how well you can see it right here. Actually, let me turn this light off. So now hopefully you can see them showing up. And they are about the same level of brightness. The circle itself is a little bit different on the Firestrike. The Firestrike's right here on the right. And it almost has what looks like a reticle around it that gets closer to the dot as you get closer to the target and further away as you move out. I fired it a couple of times at a wall, and the dart actually seems to come relatively close to where the light's pointed, especially with this being an elite blaster and getting much better velocity and ranges. I very much like the overall look and feel of the Firestrike, especially in profile. It has a very futuristic kind of colonial marines type look to it. Something else that I want to point out is because the dart post inside the barrel here is so long, just like with the night finder, it won't fire traditional streamlines. And that's because the head inside a traditional streamline comes back to about here, and the dart post inside won't allow a streamline to go all the way inside the barrel and engage the air restrictor. They will fire, however, they get terrible ranges. You can see here with a stock streamline, and then the elite dart goes in the barrel much farther and actually engages the air restrictor. So that being said, I think all that's left is a firing test. Here's the night finder. And here's the Firestrike. So you can see much higher velocity, much better ranges. I'm sure I'll have a separate range test video coming up for you. If you guys like the video, please subscribe. And as always, thank you very much for watching.